first started here in the Laramie Foothills in 1987 with the purchase of Phantom Canyon Preserve. So the Laramie Foothills is the last place on Colorado's Northern Front Range where you can see great examples of grasslands, foothills of the Rocky Mountains, and forested ecosystems. The whole of the Front Range used to look like this. It's about 400,000 acres.
We have a large area from the mountains all the way out to I-25 and the high plains. A pretty remarkable connection between the mountains and the high plains. We've actually done a pretty good job of conserving that connection, and I attribute that in part at least to the planning that the Nature Conservancy did and the early vision that it had for this connection between the mountains and the plains. I think that was really important. So later, when other actors got more involved in conservation efforts in the Laramie Foothills, so the state of Colorado, City of Fort Collins,
Larimer County, another land trust, GOCO, and really preserved a significant part of northern Larimer County.
People don't know this, but if you drive from Livermore on Highway 287 all the way to Wyoming, that drive is a spectacularly beautiful drive. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And both sides of that road essentially have been conserved, huge swaths of the landscape, and that was due to the Nature Conservancy.
I guess I take a perspective of looking and saying, gee, what would it be like now or in the future if we hadn't been here? And I just can't imagine the ranchettes and the housing developments all over those rolling foothills.
I was out on the prairie one time, was riding bicycles up there with my wife, and she was behind me and she started to yell at me. She said, "John, John, John." And I was kind of annoyed and I turned around, "What?" And she said, "Look." And she pointed and there's a moose just running up an arroyo. What was interesting to me about that was, number one, there was a moose out on the prairie, so that moose was a little bit lost. But what it said to me is that this large animal could move out of the mountains onto the plains. And now we see bighorn sheep doing that, and we have elk doing that. I'm very optimistic about the future of the Laramie Foothills, and I'm so happy that we've been able to achieve as much conservation as we've been able to achieve up there, because it's a spectacular landscape.
So today, 50% of this watershed is now protected for the future, both private lands and public lands. It's spectacular. And there's very few places like that anymore on the Front Range. So I think that's what makes it special.